Hey, Joe Martin here. You've seen our commercials over the years, and you may be wondering, what's in it for me? Well, ITI Technical College has been selected by Forbes magazine as a top 32-year college. But even more than that, the reason we do this is you. Our tagline is, for a better life, and we mean that, for you to be able to have the life you've always dreamed about, to do the things for your family you've always dreamed about. And it can begin here, where we are dedicated to your success, because here at ITI, the reason we do it is you.
This is Sports 225 with Lee Feinswag, and I'm Lee Feinswag. We're in our 24th year, if you count Sports Monday and Sports 225, and the only way that could happen is, well, it's my show.
My best friend, Lee Feinswag, look at the Christmas.
Sports 225 is brought to you by Breck. And now, me.
Ourselves at this point. Well, good evening and welcome to the first show of 2019. And on this Sports 225, we're Baton Rouge proud because Patrick Coogan is here. And he is the new president and CEO of Sports BR, which is an important job in Baton Rouge because it does more than just attract sports and activities to our city. But for those of you watching on CST, we're on CST on 18 states, which is pretty scary, and down in New Orleans, Patrick's still an interesting guest for you because not only is he a Baton Rouge guy, but he played baseball at LSU, won a couple of NCAA championships, had a pro career, and now he's got a new challenge. And you do. That's
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm very excited to be in that position. It's a very prestigious position, and there's been some guys that precede me that have done a really good job with the organization and building up sports in Baton Rouge, and not only just the sports itself, but what that what comes with that, which is the tourism and economic impact that we bring to our city. So it's very exciting, and I'm humbled and honored to be in this position.
Now, the job was originally part of the Convention Visitors Bureau, and the former LSU football star and football coach Jerry Stovall had it originally, and then Eric Engman, who left the job, did it, and that created the opening for Patrick. And it's unbelievable the large scale events that come to our city. I mean, it's the economic impact. I mean, Jerry always made it seem like even the smallest thing, it's like the Super Bowl, Right. But it really is a big deal for hotels, restaurants, and so much more.
No, that's right. And coming into this job and actually coming into this job before that, for the previous year, I served on the board, and before being on that board, I never really realized the impact that this organization had on our community. And me being a sports guy, I felt like I was fairly tuned in to what was going on in our city and what big events were coming. But to realize and actually dig deeper into what is going on in our city as far as attracting these sporting events and all that comes with it, it's a huge deal. I mean, we've got an economic impact of over $30 million a year just on our city, and that's a tremendous amount. I mean, I know our hotels love it, our restaurants love it, our mayor's office loves it. So for us to be able to bring in $30 million just under the umbrella of sports is really big, and I think we can do a lot better job. I think we can grow that somewhat with your help and the volleyball tournaments that you're bringing to town. I think is a huge deal for us, and I know it's a big deal for you. But there's other sports out there that we can get into that fold and bring them all in. And so we're looking forward to all these different opportunities that we have to bring in these tourists, if you will, that will visit our city for the first time or maybe multiple times under that umbrella of sports, and that's what we're all about.
Baton Rouge Block Party, March 30th and 31st in the River Center and at LSU and other locations. But it's a big deal because, like in our case in volleyball, it's going to be close to 150 teams that come in. Not many of them are actually from Baton Rouge. So you're talking about, again, people staying in hotel rooms, eating in the restaurants, shopping at the grocery stores.
Well, sure. I mean,
the different businesses.
That's right. They're going to see the River Center, for instance, for the first time. And one thing that you and I spoke about is, we're introducing them to the LSU U-Rec Center, which is a beautiful facility. And that may open somebody's eyes to maybe want to come to LSU. So it's perpetual in nature that once we get these people into our community, they're spending their money here, and who knows how much additional money they're going to spend down the road, whether it be coming back to our events or letting their children come here and go to college. It's really a win-win for everyone involved, not only just the sporting event that happens that week or that weekend, but down the road and going into the future. It's great for the city of Baton Rouge.
I feel a lot of pressure now to really do a good job with the tournament.
We're counting on you, Lee.
No, but I've been part of the process, and we had a volleyball tournament here in the past that Jerry Stovall and I got going, and subsequently it grew so large we had to move it to New Orleans. Now the next one we won't. I mean, it's going to stay anchored here, and we're real excited about it. But it's not lost on all of us, how important stuff like that goes. But it's a drop in the bucket compared to like a soccer tournament. Like when you guys bring in one of those major regional soccer tournaments, which have been here in the past, and that's staggering, the number of people who come in.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you hear about these events from time to time, and it was lost on me, quite frankly, when the bowling tournament came out. I'm not a bowler, but when you start to dig in and you start to read the analytics on what that brings into the city of Baton Rouge and what that means for the restaurants and the hotels and the River Center and just all the things that these people are doing, tourist activities, it's huge for the city of Baton Rouge. I mean, we're not a Atlanta or a Dallas, but we are dependent on these tourism dollars, and so for us to create these events of that size is really big. And one of the challenges we face is to have better and better facilities that can attract these events, these regional or national events. And so we're trying to work with our city and our Parks and Recreation, BREC, in improving these facilities so that we can attract bigger and better events to our town. And that, quite frankly, that's the lifeblood, and it's a win-win for not only the city of Baton Rouge because we get better events and facilities for our tax base and the people that use them on a day-to-day basis, but it's also for athletes, as you know, when you bring in a volleyball player, if they're playing at the River Center or at the U-Rec, I mean, that's a really nice facility for them to play at, and it elevates their experience they have, and it elevates their game. And so that's what I'm charged with is elevating all of this under the umbrella of Sports BR, and to help our youth and quite frankly all of our athletes, no matter the age, in Baton Rouge.
So you don't bowl, but did you see the Big Lebowski at least?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Just want to make sure.
Yeah, the kingpin hair is pretty strong.
Patrick Coogan, he's the new president and CEO of Sports BR. We got lots of things to talk to him about, including a little baseball. I'm Lee Feinswag at Sports 225.
Hi, I'm the human dislike button. You may recognize me as the guy who enforces rules at Breck Parks. Check out my amazing presentation. Did you know? Motorized vehicles are not allowed in Breck Parks. Sales and solicitation are prohibited without permission from Breck. And my favorite rule, keep Breck Parks clean by placing all trash in trash cans. Come on, you can do this. For more information about these and other Breck rules, please visit breck.org/HDB.
Back on Sports 225, first show of 2019, hanging out with Patrick Coogan, the former LSU baseball player, had himself a little pro career, and now he's the head of Sports BR. Not that it didn't have a little gap in between, right? So after you left LSU, you were property of the St. Louis Cardinals for a while, weren't you?
Yeah.
So how many years total?
I played 6 years in the Cardinals organization.
Yeah. Tell me some of the cities you went to, because there's some garden spots.
Yeah, so I started in Augusta, New Jersey.
Really?
Which I think was population maybe 150 people. But we would get literally 6,000 people at every one of our. We have no idea still to this day where these people came from, but the stadium was packed.
That was single A?
That was short season A. So after the draft, you play just a couple months. And the following 2 years, I had a little bit of a injury, so I had surgery in parts of 2 seasons.
I remember that vaguely.
Yeah, and I was right outside of Washington, D.C., in Virginia, which is beautiful, beautiful country, and enjoyed it there. Played in Little Rock, New Haven, Connecticut, and Memphis, Tennessee, along with St. Louis. So
Memphis is AAA.
Yeah, Memphis.
And that's were you in the new park ever?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
It's beautiful.
Absolutely. And we opened the season against at the time, the big league club, and the big leaguers would come in and say, well, this is better than Busch Stadium. I mean, the clubhouse and all that stuff was way better than Busch. Now, obviously, they built a new stadium, and things have changed, but that just goes to show you of what a beautiful facility that Memphis had and still has. At this time, it was a great facility.
No, Memphis is a cool place, and that's a cool.
Right, I mean, 2 blocks from Beale Street. It was, and I lived in an apartment that overlooked right field of the stadium. I mean, it was, you walked everywhere. It was a good setup.
Have you been to the new Cardinal Stadium in St. Louis?
I have not.
I haven't either, and I want to, because that's a great place to go for baseball. Let me tell you something. There's no city in America where the fans know more and support their baseball team better than St. Louis. I mean,
well,
it's just,
outside of Baton Rouge and Alex Box Stadium, I mean, look,
on the major league level.
You've never seen 12,000 coaches collectively in one spot more than Alex Box Stadium.
Nobody ever yelled at you, did they?
No, especially number 15. He never yelled at me.
Any stories you can tell that you can keep clean? He's talking about Skip Bertman, of course.
Well, I mean, there's probably plenty, not many that are for TV consumption.
Right.
But I will tell you one in 1996 was just one that I recall a lot and means a lot to me is 96. We're playing Miami, of course, in the national championship game, and I came in relief of Kevin Shipp that day, and I'd given up a double in the top of the 9th inning. This is, of course, before Warren Morris hits the home run. And I'd come in about the 5th inning and was throwing really well. Hadn't given up any runs, and I give up a double. And then they've got their first baseman, T.R. Marcinzik, who was having a hot series, and he comes up, and Skip comes up. TR was a left-handed, and Ed Yarnell was in the bullpen. He was left-handed, so Skip's walking out. I feel like, well, I've done my job. Skip's going to go lefty on lefty. Just made a whole lot of sense. We just needed one more out to get to the bottom of the 9th. And Skip comes up to me, and I'm grabbing the ball and kind of handing it to him, and expecting Ed Yarnell to come in, and he just looked me in the eye. He goes, "You're meant for this. Do you want to win the game?" I was like, well, heck yeah. So 2 pitches later, I give up another double, and we're down by 1. Warren Morris has to hit a 2-run homer to save me and win the championship. But in my mind, his greatest move ever, right? So yeah, that was a pretty cool moment.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We're visiting with Patrick Coogan. He's from Baton Rouge, played baseball at Catholic High, where he also, of course, graduated from high school. Went to LSU, played on a couple of national championship teams, the aforementioned one, and then went on to a pro career before he got into business. And the reason he's here, I mean, not only because of all those things, because he's the new president and CEO of Sports BR, which is our, I keep searching for a way to describe it, our sports version of the Convention Visitors Bureau.
That's a good way to put it. I mean, we're our conduit for bringing sporting events in to Baton Rouge on a larger scale basis.
So we're almost out of time in this segment, but since we brought up the Warren Morris thing, remember where you were sitting, what you thought, what went through your mind at the time?
Well, I just told you the story, so I'd given up the run to lose the national championship.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, that's what goes through your mind. So I come off the field. I ended up getting the next out, and so I come into the dugout, and I had never lost a game in college. I was undefeated as a college pitcher at that time. So I come in.
So you were the pitcher of record?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And I go down the stairs, and I'm just sulking a little bit, thinking, "Oh my gosh, my first loss is in the national championship game." And a good buddy of mine, Eric Berthelot, said, "Oh, this thing ain't over. Let's go." So he pulled me by the jersey, And then, of course, Brad Wilson hits the double. Then Tim Lanier, probably the hottest hitter in the tournament at the time, strikes out, which baffled. We thought he was going to be the Warren Morris. You know, I mean, he was playing so well at the time. He strikes out, and so we're down to 2 outs, obviously. And then, as history, dictates, Warren hits the home run. So this is before Rosenblatt was renovated, before they moved to the new state, the TD Ameritrade. Dugouts are really short. I'm not a real short guy. So Warren hits the ball, we all know it's gone. Now it's just a matter of if it's going to stay fair or foul at this point. I jump up so hard and so excited. I hit the little thing on your hat.
Yeah.
I hit the roof of the dugout.
Oh no.
And almost knocked myself out. So I'm seeing star. So if you see videos of it, I'm like one of the last guys out of the dugout because I'm almost KO'd at this point. So that's where I was. I've heard plenty of stories, over the years of people where they were when Warren hit the home run, but that was my story.
You were trying to collect yourself.
Yeah.
That's great. He's Patrick Coogan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Lee Feinswag. We're way past time on this segment of Sports 225, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm the human dislike button. You may recognize me as the rules guy for Breck Parks. Sometimes the rules slip past us, so I put together this amazing presentation. Did you know? Golf practice is only allowed at designated golf facilities. Firearms, explosives, and weapons are not allowed on Breck property. Metal detecting is allowed in some parks, but go to Breck's website to learn more about this and other park rules. For more information, visit breck.org/HDB.
It's almost like we're opening again. All right, we're back on Sports 225 talking to Patrick Coogan, the new president and CEO of Sports BR. And you were not thinking about yourself for that job when it opened up, huh? I mean, you said you were on the board of directors.
That's right.
Yeah, tell me how that process unfolded.
Yeah, it was interesting because my predecessor Eric ended up taking a job at a charter school here in town, and so it was kind of abrupt in when this came. It wasn't a planned changing of the guard, and there were some emails going around as far as as any board would have if they know of good candidates, and so you kind of search your internal data bank and think of people that might be a good fit. And it didn't dawn on me,
that you
to think of myself. Some other guys that serve on the board, we were talking and like, who are we thinking about? And it still never dawned on me. And then they had gone through a process of interviewing not only some local people, but some outsiders as well. And there were some really good candidates, but they hadn't quite found the right fit yet for one reason or another, whether it was an outsider who may or may not know the inner workings of Baton Rouge or the sports of Baton Rouge or the politics of Baton Rouge. And so we kept having this void. And I had it asked to me if I would potentially be interested. And then I passed the question on to another board director.
And for the past however many years, you've had a successful financial business.
Yeah.
That I don't believe you were thinking, okay, I got to make a change.
Yeah. Well, actually, I had sold the business in April of this year.
So you were thinking of making a change.
So I was a free agent at the time. But it made me think, and I had some conversations with my wife and told her why I might be interested in this, and we talked about it, and all of a sudden it just started to make sense, and talked to more and more people, and they said, look, we want to come in for an interview and make this kind of official, and so we did that over the course of a couple of days. I mean, it happened really quickly, and what I was told was that I was kind of the ideal candidate they were looking for, which humbled me, and look, I couldn't be happier with the decision to be made.
But you're a Baton Rouge guy through and through
that's right.
who understands youth sports.
That's right.
And big-time sports, from the grassroots level all the way up, which is, I think, and you have people skills and connections. So, I mean, that's what makes you an ideal candidate for the job, I would think, right?
Well, when I look back on my younger days of being that 12-year-old kid playing in tournaments, you talk to a lot of athletes and you'll ask them, what was that one thing that you remember? And it might have been a tournament in Jackson or Memphis, or it could be in Baton Rouge, but there was always that one moment or one tournament that made the kid feel like he had almost made it, because it was put on so well. The city made them feel welcome, and that's what we're here to do. We've done a great job up to this point doing that, and not only do we want to continue that, but we want to continue to raise that level all the time. And so we want to bring in bigger and better events. We want to have facilities that can handle those events, and that's going to be our mantra going forward. It's get our brand out there, Sports BR, and tell people what we do and why we do it, and that's I think that benefits everyone in our community.
Did I mention to you the Baton Rouge Block Party Volleyball Tournament, March 30th and 31st in the River Center? No, never mind. Okay.
I've heard of it.
You've heard of it. Patrick Coogan is here for one more segment. I'm Lee Feinswag. It's Sports 225.
Well. Looks like someone forgot all neighborhood rec parks close at dark.
Y'all want another?
I think they'll pass. Amplified music and sound is prohibited without permission from BREC. No alcoholic beverages on BREC property. Smoking of tobacco products is not allowed. Use of fire is prohibited except at grills. Gotta remember, BREC wants you to have fun, but in the right way. For more info, go to brec.org/HDB.
Coming down the home stretch of another Sports 225. Thanks to Kevin White for pushing all the buttons and making the direction of this show happen. Go to sports225.com for show listings of when we're on CST, when we're on Cox 4, which is your view, and we archive all of the old shows when I get around to doing it. And actually, I'm up to date because the holidays caught me a little time to do that. So it's all there. Patrick Coogan is here. He's the former LSU baseball player, businessman, and now president and CEO of Sports BR. And you got big stuff coming up. Martin Luther King Day weekend is the Louisiana Marathon. You got another big old race in February, the Mardi Gras Mambo.
Mardi Gras Mambo.
There's just huge events.
In addition to the 50-plus events that we put on annually, I mean, people don't realize that we do. Now, we don't do those all on our own. We partner a lot of times, you mentioned your tournament coming up.
I didn't mention that enough, but no,
okay.
Go ahead. No, okay.
So we partner with you and help you get that and facilitate a lot of those things. We do that a lot. So we own a couple of our own events, the Mardi Gras Mambo, the Tiger 10K, the Louisiana Marathon, those type of events. But throughout the calendar year, we partner with a lot of different, whether it be track and field, basketball, soccer, and baseball, among others. It runs the gamut of all those activities.
Right, and part of what you do too is you pitch this to organizations. You go to conventions. You go to those organizations. Mm-hmm. You're a recruiter.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah. And so, for people who want more information, they go to sportsbr.org, which has our calendar of our events. But it also allows you to interact with us, and if you want to contact us, my contact information is on there. If you've got an idea for an event or you're interested in helping us bring bigger and better events, or helping us be a stakeholder in our community with these things, we welcome all that.
And I'll vouch for you seriously because I joke about the tournaments, but having put on volleyball tournaments here with the help of the Convention Visitors Bureau and Sports BR, I mean, it's a really good thing, and it's a big part of what we do here in the community.
Well, we appreciate you saying that, and look, we're the goal. My goal is in coming in here is to use what we've done in the past and ramp it up as best we can, because I know we always used to say, look good, play good. So if you go to a tournament and the facilities are a lot better, and you got the banners and the inflatables and all that, you're going to play better, and you're going to have a more enjoyable experience. The parents are going to have a better experience, and they're going to come back to Baton Rouge.
All right. And a lot of people might know Patrick Coogan, too, who does some radio analysis for Moscona. I hope you'll keep doing that on LSU Baseball. And that links us forever because, I never do that horrible, Anyway.
I owe it to him because he's a Catholic guy. So
There
I got to
you go.
mention my alma mater, Catholic guy. So.
Which we did on a number of occasions. All right.
You can't do it too much.
Feel absolved, so to speak. Hey, thanks for coming on. This was really fun.
Enjoy it. Thank you,
Okay.
Lee.
Thanks for watching Sports 225. Good night.
At carnival time by Baton Rouge Bay, that's the site of my story. At Spanish Town Mardi Gras, things can get blurry.